Welcome to First and Goal, where everything is made up and the points don't matter. Get ready for the latest and hottest topics in the SML. Let's get started. Here's your host, Mad Bomber.
What's going on, SML? First and Goal is back. We've got Dan, MMX, and Tug. What's going on, guys? Excited to have you on First and Goal.
Excited to be here.
Glad to be here.
All right.
Hey, great to be here.
Everybody's really excited. All right, so we'll start. Let's start with. We'll go with MMX on this one to start. All right, first down. Paulie got busted using YouTube plays, right? So that's, to me, probably the worst thing you can do in a sim league like this. But what do you guys think is the worst defense somebody could do? And we'll start with you, MMX.
Sure. Yeah. So I think there are two parts to this: external and internal. So the single worst defense you can do external to someone else, I think, is quitting. I mean, I think that's kind of the top tier. You just don't do that in any league. I mean, we all make time to enjoy this game and kind of break away from our daily regimen and protocol. So I think that's the worst thing you can do to another player. But internally, I mean, what's a single offense you could do to yourself? I think it's thinking that you're like immune to losing, like complaining how much the game stinks. I mean, we're all going through the same stuff, and kind of like whining that you shouldn't lose to another player. I've been through many leagues where I've had folks where like they're 0-17 or 2-15, and maybe one of those two wins is against someone that was really good, and they are really proud of that win, and kind of kills the vibe whenever somebody's like, that loss was just to the computer. Man, let that guy have his day, right? So I think that's the two offenses, I guess, if you let me have two there.
All right, so you've played in leagues with Gilbert before.
Okay.
All right, Dan, so on you, what's the number one thing to you that someone could do?
Yeah, I think MX mentioned the quitting. I think that's obviously the number one. Back in the day, it used to be the nano blitzes, because those just were just unfair. You couldn't even hike, or after you hike the ball, you couldn't even do anything. Madden's done a good job stopping those. I do think right now the worst thing you do is a straight up YouTube play, hot route for hot route, and that's exactly what we saw with Paulie, unfortunately. Using it in a playoff game, a big playoff game, exactly the way it was set up. And to me, it's just there's no thought process behind it. There's no chess match. There's no creativity. It's, I know I can do this and set this up and get advantage of the AI. And then there's nothing that I can do or user can do. So anything that does that, where it just takes away the user's ability, is the worst to me.
All right. And Steve, what are your thoughts?
No, Doug. Almost.
Tug. Whatever. Steve, Tug, you guys are all the same. All right.
That's fair. So I actually agree with both Dan and MMX here. The rage quitting, that to me is one of the worst things you can do. We're all taking time out of our day, play an hour here.
Yeah.
Can be a frustrating game sometimes. We all get there. Just stick it out and finish the game. That's right up there with those YouTube plays. To me, one of the worst things you can do is actually a bit more rare, because this is only something an admin can do by abusing their power. Adjusting contracts or making cap hits, less of a factor for them, slightly increasing their player ratings. That, to me, just destroys the league. And I've seen it happen before, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that was actually Paulie had complained about. Jonesy had done that in another league. So I forgot about that one. All right, so second down. We'll start with Dan this time. Second down. New contract rules this cycle. How do you think that's going to impact teams? They can't just sign, I don't know, say a 65 overall guy for, $1 million a year for 7 years and then develop him and have cheap guys at the end of that contract. How do you think that's going to change everything, Dan?
I hope it's going to change a lot, because kind of what we saw towards the end of the cycle was that, guys on 7-year deals, low salary, no bonus, but they were 90 overall because they debbed up. We saw some super teams at the end that could afford high-priced free agents because they had all these kind of low-level contracts. And again, it wasn't against the rules. It wasn't anything that I think they were manipulating outside of what SML had said. But we kind of saw what it was doing and the unfairness that caused. And so now, like for me, I got Miles Murphy right off of, practice squad, right season one. I could have signed him for the whole cycle, for 10 million. Now every 2-3 years, I got to re-sign him. So I just think it's going to bring that balance, that healthiness, that everyone's on the same page. And then we're going to have to make major decisions. I think come season 4, 5, we might see some big guys move or get cut because they can't afford it. And that's realistic. And so I'm excited for it.
All right. Tug, what do you think?
I think it's going to have a big impact too, especially in the mid part of the franchise. About season 3 to season 6, you're going to see some better free agents because they're going to have to make these choices. Like me, myself, Bo Nix, he has his 5th-year option coming up. I think it was like $30 million a year. I'm probably going to accept that instead of signing him for $60 million a year, save some cap for an extra year, and push that down the road. The other part is, unless we do something to adjust what we know is like a fair contract for a player, we saw at the quarterbacks last Matt, and they were coming up for like $2 million for a 95 overall quarterback. If we don't adjust for that rule too, then it's not going to have much impact, I think, towards the end of the cycle again.
Yeah, that one I'm curious to see how it works out because I just paid, I think, $50 million a year to Anthony Richardson, and he was just a star. I think he was 84 or 88 by the time I re-signed him. So that'll be interesting to see how it plays out. What about you, MMX? How do you think this is going to impact it?
Well, first off, if we can just completely ignore Anthony Richardson, he just made me look like a fool earlier today when you beat the crap out of me. So I'm no cap wizard like some of these guys are, but I think on the whole, it's going to force guys to make more conscientious decisions. As there's no easy outs. I mean, I think like what Dan said, like once we get into the later seasons, 4, 5, 6, you're going to see some of these cap-minded owners that really know how to work a salary cap. They'll have more success in later seasons and have better teams.
Yeah, I think it'll be tougher this year. All right, so 3rd down. We'll start with you, Tug. Colt. Well, now he's 1-6 after another interesting ending. But he just moved to 1-7 or 1-6. He was 0-6 after lateraling the ball to Prime. That he says he didn't lateral. He was probably spinning. But anyway, he traded his 1st-round pick for JSN. No idea when his 1st-round pick was going to be, but I think probably 9 out of 10 guys in the league could tell you exactly where it's going to be. Top 3. So the question is, what do you think about perennial top 5 guys trading their 1st-round picks before knowing where they are?
I don't like it at all. We've seen a lot of questionable trades, I'd say, so far this cycle already. To me, 1st-round picks are the most valuable thing we have right now. We all have good players we want to build up, but those picks, especially first 3-4 seasons, you're going to have them for most of this franchise, and they're going to be 95-plus superstar players not too far into it. It's the only reason to trade any 1st-round pick, especially a top 5, top 10 1st-round pick. You get a cycle-altering player, which they are not getting.
Okay. What about you, MMX? What do you think?
I'll go in a different direction. I think I'm fine with it. I mean, it certainly makes those folks more popular to trade with, right? I mean, everyone wants a piece of that 1st-round pick. I mean, as far as the lateral is concerned, I mean, at 0-6, I would guess that Colt is just having fun. I mean, I'm trying to make a lasting memory there. I mean, just think you take it back, you lateral back, and you make a quick $50 in the process. It just backfired. I mean, absolutely spectacularly. I mean, that was awful. I couldn't get any worse than that. And he made a lasting memory for Prime. But Colt was having fun. That's what we're all here for. I mean, 99.8% sure he wasn't thinking about his number 1 pick. And but yeah, I'm fine with people trading their assets however they want, and they're going to pay for it later down the road for sure. And I'm sure I'm one of those folks by trading last cycle my 1st-round pick for Cooper Kupp and Marcus Lawrence. But I made a late run. I made a call, and it wasn't popular, but I did it anyway. So I'm fine with it.
All right, Dan, what do you think?
Well, MMX, you were dumb when you did that. Colt was dumb when he did that. Figs was dumb when he did that. Every of these guys, you're just dumb when you trade away picks. Now, MMX, I'll give you a break because so far you haven't picked in the top 5 that I know of. Maybe you did last cycle, but
I will.
Come on, dude. You know that you're going to be picking in the top 5, top 10. You get a player who doesn't have any abilities. You get a receiver who anyone can draft a receiver at any time. He's nothing that's a playmaker. Don't ever trade your future pick. Look, we saw, I think, last season, when we know what the pick is, like Bomber had to trade up and gave up multiple picks and a player to move up to 1-2. Okay. When we know what that pick is, you get so much more value for that pick than just throwing out a future. Okay. There's a reason why guys like Doink and Prime and Bomber and myself and others would love to have futures, because we know we'll never pick that high, and you can give us one of those for a marginal player. So if you have to trade, like you have some problem, like some, addictive nature of trading, like not nice. Okay. He just trades everything all the time. At least wait until you know what the pick is. Then get the value for what the pick is. Do not trade future picks. It's one of the dumbest things people do in SML.
Yeah, I agree with Dan on that one. If you're a perennial top 5 guy and you're trading before you know what it is, you're cutting yourself short, because it's going to be higher than what they're going to want to pay for it. All right, so then topic 4, last topic. We'll start with you, Dan. DW put out his season content tracker a couple weeks ago. It was that big Google sheet. Do you think that'll have any impact on guys being more involved going forward when they can see how they stack up?
Well, it should, but it won't right now, because there's no meat behind it. There's no teeth behind it. There's no evals that come out. However, if you have, again, a little bit of thought process, you know that those evals will come out. They're going to reveal the amount of effort you put into the SML. One of the things that SML is about, it is about content. It's about activity. It's about what you put into the league. If all you're doing is playing your games, mentioning, hey, good morning, and hey, see you guys, and good luck, and that's it. We've seen other guys that have come through SML. That's all they've done. They didn't last very long. You have to make content. You have to be active. You have to do things. DW is doing everyone a favor. Everyone should be thankful for the effort that DW puts into doing that. They should pay attention to it, but unfortunately, I don't think right now they will.
Okay. Tug, what do you think?
I'm kind of along the same lines as Dan here. I think very helpful there for everybody to see. I don't think it's going to move anybody in that direction for a few seasons still. For myself, I know I'm not a big chatter. I'm in the chat every day, and they're periodically throughout it. I just don't talk honestly in there. So I try to do other things. I try to commentate the playoff games, join in this, so have a little debate here with this stuff. But for a lot of people, I think they're kind of set with what they're doing. I don't think they're going to change it much overall.
Okay. MMX, your thoughts?
I always love transparency. I mean, it just helps people know exactly where they are, where they need to improve, and it just prevents any gray areas. They think they're producing enough content when really they're not. Now, will it have an impact? I don't think so. I mean, the SML is very saturated with media. It's been the most media saturated league I've been a part of in my, oh my God, I'm so old, like 20, 25 years. I don't even know. Going back to the Mike Vick when he was on the cover. And I feel like everyone's kind of settled in. The trigger on getting some more involvement tends to be when we get that chat speculation going where, who's next on getting the boot, and we start naming names, and then they're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm on that list. I better make sure I get off that list by throwing myself on a podcast or throwing out a power rankings or something, So it's nice, DW, again, doing us all a favor, but I think when we start speculating who's next, I think that's when it starts to really hit home.
All right, so that's our 4 topics. That's going to leave the score at Tug with 55, MMX with 60, and Dan with 67. Dan, you get the win, and then these 10 seconds are all yours.
Listen, I'm going to say it because no one else will say it right now. Prime, we're sick and tired of it, okay? You took the Lions. You took the best team in the league. You have all your players in the positions you want them to be. Of course you're going to win Season 1. Of course you're going to win these games. You beat Colt, and you're bragging about it, who hasn't won a game. Like, just chill out, dude. Let everyone else catch up. Let everyone else get the same level of team in the same place that they want to. Then you can start bragging. From right now, get over with it. We're done with it. Just be quiet.
All right. So this has been First and Goal. Thanks for being on, guys, and tune in probably next week. We'll have another one. Thanks for being on.
Thanks for listening to First and Goal. Be sure to check out Mad Bomber TV on Twitch and YouTube for the latest from the SML. And we'll see you next time on First and Goal.